Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel Medical Biochemistry by Dr. Vasant Gosai. Today we will discuss about integration of metabolism. Now, in human beings, derive the energy by oxidation of the nutrients, and a constant supply of energy, which is in form of ATP, is required for all the cells to survive and function normally. Here, the balance between need and mobilization of the stored energy is called metabolic homeostasis or calorie homeostasis. Here, the thousands of chemical reactions are taking place inside the cells in an organized, well coordinated and purposeful manner, and all these reactions are collectively called as metabolisms. Here, the metabolism serves the following purposes: for the chemical energy which is obtained from the degradation of the energy rich nutrients. Second one is the food materials are converted into the macromolecules such as proteins, nucleic acids and polysaccharides. Metabolic pathways are taking place with the help of sequential enzyme system, and these pathways are regulated at three levels. First one is at the enzyme levels, regulation through action of the allosteric enzymes. Second one is the hormonal regulation, and third one is at the regulation at the DNA level or at the transcription level. Now, the types of the metabolic pathways. Here, the catabolic pathway means degradation pathway, where the energy rich complex macromolecules are degraded into the smaller molecules, and from this the energy release, and which is trapped as a chemical energy, which is we called as ATP. Second one is the anabolic or biosynthesis pathway, and the cells synthesize the complex molecules from the simple precursor, and this requires the energy. Third one is the amphibolic pathway, and these are seen at the crossroads of the metabolism. They are cross linked, where both anabolic and catabolic pathways are seen or linked. Now, the stages or phases of the metabolism, mostly three stages. First one is the first one is called the primary metabolism. Here, in first stage, the digestion in the gastrointestinal tract converts the macromolecules into the small units. For example, proteins are digested to amino acids. Then second one is the secondary or intermediary metabolism, and here these products are absorbed, catabolized to smaller component, and ultimately they are oxidized into the carbon dioxide, and this process the NADH or FADH2 is generated. Third one, in this reduced complexes or reduced equivalents enter into the electron transport chain, where the energy is released, and this is called tertiary metabolism or cellular respiration. Now, in our body, the major fuels, first one is the glucose, second one is the fatty acid, third one amino acid, and last one is the ketone bodies. Now, in body, the stored fuel in the liver, ग्लाइकोजन का जो स्टोर होता है जो लिवर में, वो उसका यहाँ पे कितना होता है और उसमें से कितना किलो कैलोरी एनर्जी उसमें से रिलीज़ होती है, वो यहाँ पे इस टेबल में दिखाया गया है. यहाँ पे इन लिवर में द ग्लाइकोजन होता है 70 ग्राम्स एंड एनर्जी इक्विवेलेंट इज़ 280 किलो कैलोरीज. देन ग्लाइकोजन इन मसल्स इज़ 120 ग्राम्स. Okay, and same the glucose in body fluids is 20 grams, fat in adipose tissues is 15,000, and protein in muscle is 6,000 gram. Now, the energy stored in the man, the fat which is stored in our body, which is remain or useful for 34 days of the starvation. Okay, and the muscle glycogen is remains stored for 14 hours of the starvation, and liver glycogen is utilized utilized for the ATP synthesis for 3.5 hours of the starvation, then blood glucose for 40 minutes and body proteins for 15 days of the starvations. Now, here the major metabolic pathways of the carbohydrate, fat and proteins. First one, the carbohydrate metabolism pathway. The major pathways are the glycogenesis, then glycogenolysis, the breakdown of the glycogen, then glycolysis, okay, then gluconeogenesis, then minor pathways, the HMP shunt pathway, uronic acid pathway, lactose synthesis pathway. Same, the fat metabolism pathways, the fatty acid synthesis, lipogenesis, lipolysis, fatty acid oxidation, ketogenesis, ketolysis, and in protein metabolism, the proteolysis, amino acid oxidations, urea synthesis, and in last the protein synthesis pathway. Here you can see the glucose, fatty acids and amino acid, okay, how they synthesize the ATP. Okay, so from glucose it converted into the pyruvate, okay, pyruvate converted to acetyl CoA, fatty acids, okay, linked to or converted to acetyl CoA, amino acid is converted to the acetyl CoA, okay, and this acetyl CoA is goes into the TCA cycle where it form the carbon dioxide, water, and in last it synthesize or release the ATP. Now, here the organs concerned with the metabolic integrations. So, most commonly the liver, skeletal muscles, adipose tissues, gut or intestine, and last one is the kidney. They are mostly concerned with or related to the metabolic integrations. Now, the liver is the body's central metabolic clearinghouse, and it is the site of entry of all the foods following the digestions, and it maintains the circulating nutrients levels. Then skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscle is the major energy consumers. It takes up and utilizes the glucose, ketone bodies, fatty acids, and glycolysis is a preferred ATP production pathway in exercising muscle. Now, what happened in adipose tissue? So, adipose tissue is widely distributed throughout the body, and average 70 kg human possesses about 15 kg of fat in these tissues. The mass of the adipose tissue contains about 1,35,000 kilocalories of the energy, and it is sufficient to sustain life up to 35 days without taking any food. Then the brain, which is most important organ of our body, and the brain makes up only about 2% of the total body mass, but it uses 20% of the total body consumptions. Glucose is the major fuel used by the brain, and in prolonged starvation, in starvation period, it changes to use ketone bodies as a fuel. It utilizes the ketone body for the energy synthesis or production. Then brain does not store any fuel reserve. Here you can see in fed state and in starvation, brain what it is utilized for its function and for the energy productions. Now, the major organs solely depend on the glucose for the energy. So, for energy, the brain, which is depend mostly on the glucose, then RBCs, retina, then renal medulla, and in last the testes. A constant supply of the glucose is essential for these organs. Now, we will say about starve and feed cycles. There is starvation and the feed cycle. The well-fed state is remain 1 to 4 hours after the food. It is called well-fed state. After 4 to 4 hours, the 4 to 16 hours, it is called as early fasting state. Then from 16 to 48 hours, it is called the fasting state. Then from 2 to 3 days, it is called starvation, and more than 5 days, it is called prolonged starvation period. Now, what happened in well-fed state? So, here the absorption of the glucose from the GI tract, okay, and at that time the secretion in well-fed state, the secretion of the insulin occur, okay, from the beta cells. Then what happened with the fat, okay, in fed state? The dietary fat absorbed in re-esterified in intestinal mucosa, and it is packaged into the chylomicrons. It delivered free fatty acids and glycerol to peripheral tissues, and in adipocyte it is re-esterified to triacylglycerol and stored in the adipose tissue. Here you can see from the muscles, okay, the valine, it is used for the for its function, okay, for the valine use for valine is used by the brain, okay, glutamine is used by the kidney, okay, and the glucose and alanine cycle which occur in the skeletal muscle, okay. This is the inter-organ transport of the amino acid after taking the food. Here you can see the glucose, okay, which converted into, okay, or it is stored in form of the glycogen, then amino acids, okay, which goes into the brain and in muscles, then in fatty acid, which from which is converted to very low density lipoprotein and goes into the adipose tissue. Now we will see what happened in fasting state. In early fasting state, 4 to 16 hours, fuel stops from the GI tract, okay, the absorption from the GI tract is stopped. So what happened? The blood glucose level is decreased, so insulin is slowed down, and blood sugar level is maintained by the hepatic glycogenolysis. Here what happened? The glycogen breakdown, glycogenolysis, decrease the glycogenesis, decrease the lipogenesis, and here the remaining glucose, it is spared for the brain, for brain's normal function, okay. Here you can see the liver glycogen level is decreased, okay, blood glucose level is also decreased day by day, and the ketone bodies, okay, ketone body synthesis is occur, okay, lipolysis is occur, okay, during the starvation period. Here during starvation, the first stage is called, it is glycogenolysis. During fasting, first 18 hours blood glucose level is maintained by the hepatic glycogenolysis. Second stage is the gluconeogenesis. Even before the glycogen store depleted, the gluconeogenesis is accelerated. The amino acid released from the muscle, which form the major substrate for the gluconeogenesis, and here the glucose-alanine cycle serves to transport the amino nitrogen to liver in a harmless form, and the branch chain amino acid is liberated by the protein catabolism, and they are utilized by the muscle to give the energy. Here the brain can preferentially take up the glucogenic valine amino acid from the bloodstream. Then in third stage, the lipolysis is occur. The skeletal muscle, heart and kidney will shut down their glucose utilization and will depend mainly on the fatty acids for the energy needs. Here what happened? The ketone bodies, okay, the ketone bodies provide the fuel for the tissues like the heart muscles, skeletal muscles, and to some extent in the brain. Then fourth stage of starvation is the acidosis. Here what happened? the production of the ketone bodies leads to the metabolic acidosis, and the pH falls and hyperventilation occurs as a compensatory mechanism. And in last one is the fifth stage, it is the death from the starvation. Metabolic acidosis and dehydration, unless corrected efficiently, will lead to the death. A normal person has fuel reserve to live up to 45 to 60 days. The normal person remain alive for 45 to 60 days. Here you can see the major fuels, okay, in short term fasting and in long term fasting. For brain it is glucose, okay, for short term fasting, and in long term fasting it is glucose and ketone bodies, okay. For skeletal muscle in long term fasting it utilize fatty acids, ketone bodies, okay, and branch chain amino acids. Here you can see the key enzymes, okay, key enzymes of the some important cycles, okay, under the welfare condition and starvation. What happened with these enzymes? You can see the glycolytic enzymes, okay, and the gluconeogenesis enzymes. Here the glucokinase in fed state its level is increases, okay, but in fasting it decreases, okay. And here you can see the pyruvate carboxylase enzyme. In fed state its level is decreased, but in fasting its level is increases. Then you can see the glycogen synthesis pathway and glycogenolysis pathways enzymes. The glycogen phosphorylase, its level is decreased in the well fed stage, okay, and in fasting stage its level is increases. Here you can see the lipolytic enzymes, okay, hormone sensitive lipase enzymes, okay, acetyl CoA carboxylase enzymes level, okay, its acetyl CoA carboxylase enzyme is increased in the fed state, and in fasting its level is decreases. Here you can see the important organ which what they utilize as a primary fuels, okay. So here the brain, its primary fuel is the glucose, okay. Then for skeletal muscle the glucose from the glycogen. Then for cardiac muscle the glucose through the aerobic metabolism. And in other fuels for the cardiac muscle is the fatty acids and ketone bodies. In adipose tissue the primary fuel for their function is the fatty acids and glucose, and the other fuels, okay, mainly storage function the adipose tissues. Then here the long distance runners do not compete with the sprinters. What is the meaning? The long distance running is an example of the aerobic exercise, and here the metabolic profile of organ changing during the aerobic exercise with fatty acids and ketone bodies, they are being as a preferred fuel for the skeletal muscle, the fatty acids and the ketone bodies, and because the glycogenolysis is not sufficient to meet the energy requirement of prolonged aerobic exercise. Then second one is the anaerobic exercise. On other hand, it has no effect on the metabolic profile of the organs other than the skeletal muscle, and the skeletal muscle depends on its own glycogen stores and phosphocreatine to meet the demand of the energy or ATP. Now the hormonal regulations in well-fed stage and in starvation. So in well-fed state the secretion of the insulin, okay, and in starvation what happened? It increases the glucagon and catecholamines level, and it decreases the T3 level, which causes the basal metabolic rate is also decreased. Okay, thank you.